This is the Tecno Camon 50 Pro and it's part of a trio: Tecno Camon 50, the Tecno Camon 50 Pro, and the Tecno Camon 50 Ultra. Now if you follow Tecno for a while, you already know what the Camon series is about. This is their budget, camera-first lineup, so you get as much photography performance as possible into a more accessible price point. And today we're looking at the middle child. We're going to unbox it, check out everything you get inside, take a look at the hardware, and of course test out the cameras, because that's the kind of the whole point of this phone. And at around 300 USD, the real question is, what exactly is Tecno offering here, and is it something you'd actually want to buy? Obviously, straight out of the box, you get everything you need. First up, you get a 45-watt fast charger included, which is always good to see. Then there's the usual paperwork, including that licensed by Qualcomm sticker, plus even a screen protector that you can install yourself. Then also, there's a really cool looking and feeling phone case in here. It has large letters from the word Camon all over and the Tecno Camon logo at the bottom left. I reckon you don't need a separate phone case, whether it's for protection or aesthetics. This one covers all areas. Now for a phone that only demands 300 of your hard-earned dollars, the Camon 50 Pro feels properly refined in the hand. On the front, the display has a very subtle curve along the edges. It is just enough of a slope to make those edge swipe gestures feel smooth, but it doesn't spill over aggressively. Then at the back, especially on the camera part, you can see some glaring similarities to the Galaxy S26 series, but it has its own twist to it. The back itself is plastic, but it is done right. It has this matte finish that doesn't pick up fingerprints easily, which is a big win for everyday use. Then there's a small detail that stands out. Right next to the camera module, there's a tiny red indicator light. It can light up for notifications, blink during incoming calls, show when you're recording video or taking photos, and even when the phone is charging. It is just one of those small features that adds a bit of personality to the phone. On the left side, there's an extra dedicated button. We'll get into what it does a little later. And then you've got stereo speakers on this thing and regular shenanigans like a SIM card tray, microphones, and a Type-C port. Overall, this is a refined design. It sits well in the hand, it looks good on a table, and it has just enough personality to stand out without trying too hard. I'm a fan. Now flipping back to the front, and I just want to say this up front. This is a proper display. A genuinely legitimately good display. You're getting a 1.5K AMOLED panel, 6.78 inches, and the brightness on this thing is wild. Like outdoors in direct sunlight, it's still readable. And when you crank it to maximum, you might actually need to look away. It is that bright. I think in 2026, it is really hard to find a smartphone with a bad display. I mean, they still exist, and all the time it usually feels like the company intentionally made a terrible display. It also runs up to 144Hz and it's adaptive, so it can scale between 60, 90, 120 and 144Hz depending on what you're doing and whether the app supports it. What's even better is that you can actually control this per app, so if you want certain apps to always run at higher refresh rates, you can do that. The colors on the display are punchy and vivid, and you can actually tune them. Tecno gives you the option to switch between a more saturated bright mode or a more true-to-life original mode, and you can also adjust the white balance and color temperature to your liking. Now here's the interesting part. The chipset in this phone technically supports up to 1080p resolution and 120Hz refresh rate, so how Tecno is pushing 1.5K and 144Hz here is a bit questionable. It might be some form of software upscaling or just clever marketing, but I don't really care. It's an issue since either way, the display looks amazing. Because what you actually see and feel is a display that looks sharp, feels smooth, and gets really bright. Scrolling is fluid, content looks great, and overall, it just delivers. So yes, at the end of the day, this is one of those displays where you don't feel like you're compromising anything. It is bright, colorful, smooth, it's a proper display. Easy 10 out of 10, like my girlfriend. So under the hood, the Camon 50 Pro is running on the MediaTek Helio G200. Tecno is calling it the Helio G200 Ultimate. Now you need to hear me when I say the word Ultimate here is doing very little technical work. It is the same energy as Xiaomi slapping Ultra on their processors, or Oppo adding Max, or Vivo adding Pro. So apparently MediaTek allows manufacturers to go under the hood and customize specific parts of the chip, like the camera processing, AI, or power management, and then add a suffix to show it's special for that brand, but the performance difference won't be as different. Anyways, assume what you're getting is a solid, capable budget 4G chip, and for everyday use, scrolling, social media, video streaming, casual gaming, it handles all of that just fine. Just don't go expecting to run Genshin Impact at max settings and then blame me. Now backing up that processor is 8GB of RAM, which is completely sufficient for keeping your background processes alive without aggressive upscaling. You can use virtual RAM expansion to push that to 16 GB, but if you really want to. But honestly, the physical 8 GB does the heavy lifting. For storage, it has 256 GB, which is solid, and I'm just going to give you some free advice since it's 2026. Do whatever you can to avoid buying a 28 GB smartphone. Apps are huge, photos are high resolution, and 28 GB just doesn't cut it anymore. 256 GB is the optimum sweet spot for most people today, and I'm glad to see it here. Okay, so remember that extra button on the right side that I mentioned earlier and I said we'll get into it? We're getting into it. It's essentially a customizable action button. You can map and press it to open any app you want, or you can use it to wake up Tecno's Ella AI. It feels very similar to the implementation on the Infinix Note 8. When you long press it, it activates Flash Memo, and what Flash Memo does is looks at whatever is currently on your screen, records it, analyzes it, and then uses AI to summarize and store that information. It's using AI to instantly understand and break down content and instantly generate a summary for you to store and reference later, which is actually pretty useful in real life. And speaking of AI, Tecno went all in, like all the way in. Inside the settings, the dedicated Tecno AI hub packed with features: Ella the voice assistant, Ella briefing, a call assistant, translation assistant, document assistant, AI subtitles. The list just keeps going. You could call it an AI fast phone that happens to make phone calls. Now swipe left on the home screen and there's more: Flash Memo, a video generator, Mind Hub, and then you get into Gallery, and even there, after taking a photo, you're getting AI Auto Zoom, AI Art Gallery, AI Shadow Remover. It's relentless. Now look, nobody's going to use every single one of these features, but the beauty of having this many options is that you'll almost certainly find 2 or 3 that slot perfectly into how you use your phone. That's the play here. And now of course this is still Tecno, so yes, there is bloatware. You notice a bunch of apps pre-installed right out of the box. The good news though is that most of them can be uninstalled, so you can clean things up pretty easily. And then customization. Tecno actually goes deep here. Themes, wallpapers, combinations, icon styles, but my favorite is the depth effect home screen. It creates this layered parallax effect that makes your wallpaper look almost three-dimensional as you tilt the phone. My camera is probably not going to do it justice right now, but trust me, in person it looks so cool. The kind of thing you show someone and they immediately want to try it on their phone. Which brings us to the cameras. On the back you're getting a triple camera setup. There's a 50 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 50 megapixel telephoto lens with 3 times optical zoom. And by the way, that telephoto is actually what separates this from the regular Tecno Camon 50, because outside of that, these two phones are basically the same. On the front, you've got a 32 megapixel selfie camera, and generally this phone takes really nice photos. The lighting is consistently good, the colors have this amazing punchy quality to them right out of the camera, of course after some processing in the background that you'll notice while taking photos. And honestly, I'm ready to call it the best camera phone you can buy for this price. That 3 times telephoto also adds a lot of versatility. You can get closer to your subject without losing detail, and if you push it further, it can go up to 60 times digital zoom. Now obviously at that level it's mostly cropped and enhanced, but the phone does try to clean things up a bit using software, so the results are still usable in some situations. The ultra-wide is also there for those wider shots, and it does the job well enough to round off the setup. Selfies are also solid. That 32 megapixel front camera captures a lot of detail, and portrait mode is actually impressive here. Edge detection is clean, background separation looks natural, it doesn't struggle the way some budget phones do. Video recording goes up to 2K at 30 FPS on both the front and rear cameras. And again, the results are just nice. Nothing overly complicated, just clean, usable video that most people will be happy with. So overall, at this price point, this is easily one of the best camera setups you can get. This is a proper budget camera phone. The phone packs a 6150 mAh battery, which is big, and in real-world use, that translates to full-day usage without any stress. You can go through your day, social media, videos, photos, a bit of gaming, and not feel like you need to constantly look for a charger. And when you do need to top up, you got 45-watt fast charging, which gets you back up relatively quickly. Then on top of that, Tecno has included features like bypass charging, which helps reduce heat when you're using the phone while plugged in, and charging safety protections to maintain battery health over time. So where does that leave us with the Tecno Camon 50 Pro? I say that it leaves us with a remarkably good budget smartphone that I have zero hesitation recommending to just about anyone. Tecno has managed to pack in an amazing camera system, a striking design, and a top-tier display. When you combine that with a proper out-of-the-box experience, complete with a case that you'll actually want to use and a handful of AI features that might actually save you some time, and you've got a really compelling package. Now, am I the biggest fan of the Helio G200 processor inside? Of course not exactly. It is not a bad piece of silicon by any means, but it's clearly the compromise that keeps the price tag low. But as I said earlier, when it comes to optics, I am firmly calling this the best $100 camera phone on the market today, and I invite you to correct me in the comments. If you already own the Camon 50 Pro, let me know what your experience has been like down below. And if you're sitting on the fence, deciding on whether to buy it or not, hopefully this helped make that decision a little clearer. Thanks for watching. I'm Milan and this is Fuzzy Tech. Subscribe.